he's not a fan of Hassan Piker, which is a shame because I feel like there's a lot of Hasan Derangement syndrome out there. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of like hating him, and then when you try to dig into why he's hated, it's like your reason is not that good to hate him.
Yeah, if you're Malcolm X posting and you hate me, then you literally do not understand my worldview. Like if you are Malcolm X posting as a positive, and then you also have enmity in your heart to my worldview, then you have completely misunderstood my worldview, you know? Kyle Click,
one of the things that makes me really happy is that I felt very lonely for a long time when I started to like relentlessly go after the MAGA comedian podcast bros. You know, your Joe Rogans, of course, and your Andrew Schultz and your Tim Dillons, like all these guys, everybody in that Rogan sphere who sort of hopped on the Trump bandwagon and tried to ride the vibes. I've been going after them hard for a long time, and it was lonely, bro. Because this was at a time they were peaking, their numbers were as high as they ever were, they seemed untouchable, they seemed like the cool kids, and everybody was, on board with their... but now, it's been a while since their peak, and a lot of them...
Kyle used to love Joe Rogan, yeah, which is why his comments against Joe Rogan hold more weight. Because Kyle used to be friendly with Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan would have Kyle Kalinske on his show. Okay? So if he was simply invested in clout and didn't have a genuine, firmly held worldview, a commitment to the truth, then he wouldn't on Joe Rogan. He would just be quiet about Joe Rogan. Okay? You used to enjoy Joe Rogan. I still enjoy Joe Rogan, but obviously I don't agree with him at all. And it's been years and years since I've called myself a Joe Rogan fan sincerely, right?
Have started to fall off a little bit. And you get the sense that there's genuinely a lot of criticism of these people now, right? Like, so shout out to these channels. There's a bunch of these channels like Comedy Enforcement and others that do what that channel does. And they're just like, they almost like exclusively cover the Rogan sphere and make fun of them. They make fun of the Tom Segura's and the Bert Kreischers and the Andrew Schultz and the Joe Rogans. And so that's cool. We like that. But now even others are getting in on it. So there's this channel here. Shout out to this guy, Kamal, Kahmal. Stumbled across this guy's channel recently. Now, look, him and I don't have perfect agreement on everything. I mean, this guy, he strikes me as like a sort of a center-left kind of guy. He's not a fan of Hassan Piker, which is a shame because I feel like there's a lot of Hasan Derangement syndrome out there. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of like hating him, and then when you try to dig into why he's hated, it's like your reason is not that good to hate him.
Yeah, if you're Malcolm X posting and you hate me, then you literally do not understand my worldview. Like if you are Malcolm X posting as a positive, and then you also have enmity in your heart to my worldview, then you have completely misunderstood my worldview. Like 100%. That makes zero sense. That makes no sense whatsoever. Someone has duped you into believing that I have a firm commitment to a worldview I do not have. And it's kind of funny. I'm glad that people are speaking out on this. Like Kyle is speaking out on this. I'm glad that even Bad Empanada spoke out on this as well, like the Hasan Derangement syndrome stuff, because like there is no the people that are creating these like fake positions, the people that are creating these like negative positions around me do not agree with you if you are also a Malcolm X poster, if that makes sense.
Like, why you hate?
I don't know who this guy is, and I don't know what his worldview is at all.
On him. But anyway, that aside, this guy did a great video here titled "Comedians Sold Us Out," where he's going to get into the Rogan sphere comedy podcast bros and basically explain how they all suck ass and how they ended up basically duping their entire audiences. And
it's not even politics; they just don't like you. No, it is. The starting point for that enmity comes from politics, though. That's usually where it comes from. It's like one issue that they just truly disagree with, right? Like sex work could be one. Pro-trans commentary could be another one. It could be anti-imperialism is a major one, right? And a lot of these content creators themselves that gear up their audiences into feeling this way don't really have like a firmly established worldview regardless, and they're just usually going along with the wave.
fools of themselves and supporting Trump. So let's watch.
Well, these leaders that they call leaders, this included comedians, comics. These aren't leaders. These are puppets and clowns that usually say exactly what they know that the white man wants to hear.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we said you're a great father up top. First thing you say is, I've got great kids. You didn't take credit.
Lots don't like you because of woke purity test. Ironically enough, I don't do that. I understand that people's starting position is like, oh, the Kamal guy likes Willie Slop show. Yeah. They don't believe you. These guys think you're a hypocrite. Yeah. But again, that's because of a failure to comprehend what my worldview is, or a false understanding due to Red Scare propaganda of what socialism is supposed to be anyway. Do you understand? That's what it is. That's like literally, oh, he's rich. He's socialist but rich. This guy. That's it. That's where a lot of this resentment breeds from. That's where it comes from. There is no reason someone dislikes us on Red Scare. I mean, I think that's part of it for sure. I'm sure there's plenty of great reasons as well, guys. People probably don't like my vibes. Okay, that's fine. They're like, sure, great. But I think for a lot of people, like the starting point, the starting point can be a number of different things. I talk about every single hot button issue on the planet. Okay, there are always going to be people who hold on to those issues and keep them close to their chest. There are people who think I'm anti-trans. Okay, there are pro-trans people who think I'm not pro-trans enough, for example. I think it's honestly a vast majority of his jealousy of you being successful, also being a moral human being. You are a testament to their failure on both or the first. Yeah, I mean, for content creators themselves, like that is definitely a part of it. That's why that's why so many apolitical content creators who wear vice signaling on their sleeve, like being a piece of shit is like a virtue almost to them, will often literally admit, they're like, Hasan is faking it. He must be faking it because he always finds himself on the right side of issues. I'm like, dude, what the so you're admitting that you're on the wrong side of this issue? Like, this doesn't fucking make any sense. I've talked about this before. There is this idea that like being a piece of shit online is the best way to show authenticity to a lot of people. Okay? Being a piece of shit online for a lot of people, especially people that spend most of their social interaction online or more some of their formative years only creating a sense of community online, have completely lost touch with like how normal people operate in the real world. What is this? You create way too much content that feeds white reactionaries, like you have other white leftists saying slurs and spewing anti-Semitic rhetoric and racism. I love your content, but you make South Asian racist jokes. Malcolm X posters are not going to like you when you end up covering Biden's prostate on his 100th birthday. What? I'm confused about what you're saying. This guy literally is a friend of Willie Slop Show. Do you think he cares about, like, I don't even know what you mean by making South Asian racist jokes. What? Do you think Malcolm X would be a Biden supporter? Is that what you're trying to say? I'm confused. I've also actively talked about South Asian hatred online with regular frequency, unless you mean like swagapinos. Anyway, I should probably stop responding to every single person that has like a personal vendetta that is born out of like a misunderstanding. And then your entire answer, I thought this was really cool. Your entire answer is about how great your kids are. That's a very cool thing.
Thank you. That's very nice. I think I like this interview. I think
if you are just waking up right now, NBC News now officially projecting that Donald Trump has won the presidency.
This group influenced the presidential election of 2020.
Yo, listen. Don't even say influence. We decided.
We were the turning point.
Just know he was not up until this pod.
It's true.
After the pod, he surges, what, 3 or 4%?
Yeah, it was a rap, dude. Mm-hmm.
Never went back down after that.
Images of MAGA supporters literally burning their red MAGA hats are going viral online. And all of this comes a day after Trump berated Republicans as, quote, stupid and foolish for wanting more information about the disgraced financier who died by suicide while in federal custody.
You know what I'm getting a lot of? You talked to him, you platformed him as if he was at 0%. And then we talked to him and then he won the election. As if he had fucking no shot of winning. Hold on. People were like, this guy's a monster, he's not a human being. Then we humanize him. That's what he keeps saying.
Since all this drama. This is the thing, right? Like, they're refusing to take accountability for what their position actually was and what they believed and what they did. Like, bro, you guys were meat riding a geriatric, bloated, corrupt war criminal freak. Own that. If these guys just came out and were like, hey, dog, my bad, I f***ed up. I fell for the scam. Fell for it again award. Turns out Kamala would have been better. Trump sucked. Sorry. Like, that's all you got to do, bro. That's it. And then everybody be like, okay, right? But they can't. It's like they're trying to weasel out of accountability and responsibility for their own actions and pretend like they weren't actually meat riding Trump. And even now, like you'll see it later on in this video, Schultz still doesn't feel bad about his softball interview with Trump. All right, let's get it. By the way, again, phenomenal editing in this piece. So shout out to Kamal. He's about to come on screen now.
He's not a human being, then we humanize him. That's what you keep saying.
Since all this drama with the Epstein files, I've noticed that a few of these podcaster comedians have been speaking out against their little buddy Donald Trump. And no one's played the situation worse than this guy.
Like there'll be people that they'll DM me and be like, you see what your boy's doing? You voted for this. I'm like, I voted for none of this. He's doing the exact opposite of everything I voted for. Yeah. I want him to stop the wars. He's funding them. I want him to shrink spending, reduce the budget. He's increasing it. It's like everything that he said he's going to do except sending immigrants back.
And as soon as little Andy posted this genius revelation, to his surprise, his audience wasn't immediately kissing his ass, but instead was calling him out for taking 8 months to figure out the most obvious of all time, saying things like,
not being able to see through Trump's blatant for 10 years is honestly baffling at this point.
You endorsed him proudly. You wore the red hat, posted the memes, excused the cruelty, justified the lies. You stood by when others were silenced, targeted, dehumanized.
Shout out to his audience, man. God damn. They saw right through the right? They're like, nah. You're not going to play this game, bro. You're not going to play this game. Because they didn't, guys, it was all about vibes. They all liked the Trump vibes. They all liked that Trump was popular online. They wanted to ride the wave of Trumpism online.
Have we gotten sidetracked or have we moved on to podcasters now? I mean, this is the reason why we started off this was because Kyle was talking about Hasan Derangement syndrome, and apparently this guy who made this like good video about pro-Trump comedians who are now anti-Trump, Kyle is reacting to them, and he brought up the fact that this guy who should be aligned with my worldview is like a massive hater or something. And I was trying to identify why. Disappointing. This guy's in a slop drama. I watched his last night. I think I've seen his content before as well. I think this is it for the HDS thing, by the way. I think the last aspect of it is just about Schultz. Yeah. I think I told you guys this already. Eventually people are going to move on from these positions. I told you, just like I told you that like young right wingers that originally were pro-Trump are very quickly waking up to the reality that Trump is not actually actively solving their issues at all. And we're there already. This is something that I saw. This is something that I saw in the first Trump administration, and I talked about it actively in the first Trump administration. And this is why I made this prediction in the second Trump administration that it was inevitably going to happen. And we're there already. We are there already. We have officially arrived at that point, and it's not even a year in. People are realizing that like all of this anti-trans stuff that they pushed in the beginning was just simply red meat for the base. Are you really surprised when you hear that a belief aligned people don't like you? Yes. Especially if you're like a content creator. Not gonna lie, I made this video when I was way more politically ignorant, is what he commented on the video he made about you. What's the guy's name? What is his name? Is it Kamal? Comedian sold us out. Man who ruined comedy. How Johnny Somali became the most hated. FD Signifier confronted me on stream. The worst political streamer 1 year ago. You're being radicalized. Is that what it is? Is this the one? Because, I mean, this video got 400,000 views a year ago. Intro, hypocrite, radical, being fair, realization. I do like that this is becoming common knowledge. It's scary how brainwashed his fans are. Imagine believing this guy bought a Porsche for your entertainment. I don't even know what this is. Imagine owning a $4 million house while streaming on the flag in the background. He's got like 3 or 4 videos about you. Yeah, I assume that like a lot of this came at the heat of the Israel-Palestine stuff. Criticizing public figures is fair, but coming at Hasan, this is from 3 hours ago, over Palestine is wild, especially now given everything we know. I get the criticism about his takes on class and race, like saying poor white people are still winning, but to me, poor is poor. Struggle doesn't care about skin color. Wait, what? That's not even my position. Hasan's not perfect, but he's trying to get people to think beyond what we've been told. Rich people have manipulated the narrative for years. He earned his money streaming nonstop. Nothing wrong with that. I'll keep watching. I came from Kyle's video. You should revisit his channel. He got worse now and even whitewashed the genocide in China. Bro, are you pro-capitalist? Hasan earned his money from his labor, not from capital exploitation. Was with you until the Rittenhouse stuff. Good to know that there are people who caught your lies. Makes my comment from earlier a bit superfluous. I'm not sure about this one. I've only watched Hasan clips for the last 6 months on and off, but I rarely disagree with his perspective and would consider myself pretty far left politically. Of course, he's not the perfect example of the cause he fights for, but he's a messenger, and I feel like he's pointing people in the right direction. Read his reply. Where? Edit. Wow, after the Israel takes, this video did not age well. Unsub. Best of luck, brother. Not gonna lie, I made this video when I was way more politically ignorant. That's good. A lot of these content creators, I think, like make their first foray into politics by just basically getting involved in drama. Politically ignorant, commenting on a political commentator, brother. There are a million of these guys. Okay, most of the guys that do this are like this. At least this guy admits that he was wrong, I guess. Okay. I'd rather have all of these slop tubers, even if they never admit that they were wrong, even if they never admit that they were wrong about me, but they just like move in my direction, worldview wise, and then stop doing all of these like Hasan style content. Are you trying to say Willie Mac show isn't well read? I mean, yes, of course. He only reads Reddit comments and makes videos copying and pasting whatever the is being said in the Destiny subreddit. But yes, these guys do not have any sort of real political education, and they just run along with existing narratives. That's why there's so much of this kind of content out there. So I'm happy when people at least recognize that they're, in the wrong and move on quietly. Okay, that's it. Yeah, this is it. I'm sure many people in the chat know people in the wild who are put off by you, even if they're aligned, risk or reverse to even the slight chance you say something bad. That's what I mean. I've seen them literally make up you being some kind of rad lib and canceling people. They're clueless. Yeah. Was that your Met Gala fit? I never went to the Met Gala. This is from like 2014. Okay. This is me wearing a Friends merch that people love posting and pointing to. You should do what you said you can to the mold man D&E and just let your mainstream journalist friends know how YouTube is openly against terms and harassing other content creators to destroy them. It's not going to work. That doesn't matter. Yeah, of course it's photoshopped. I wasn't at the Met Gala, chatters. What are you, crazy? I know people IRL here in MS that think Hasan is a part of the Diddy circle. That's nuts. Anyway, let's move on from the hater talk. Let's get to some real news. You have a whole industry actively working 24/7 to clip chimp and smear you. Yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. Okay. There is not really much you can do, but if you encounter someone like this in the wild, you can just like point them in the direction of my actual opinions. You can point them in the direction of the stream to be like, dude, listen, the quickest solution to this concerted effort of smear campaigns is to basically show them the truth. And you can do that with one of two different ways. Either you can do that by being like, that's not true, just watch a stream. But if that's too much for a lot of people, and I understand that because there is like definitely some people just don't want to watch Twitch, and I totally understand that. Okay. Then what you can do is just point them to a video of mine from my channel. I have everything that I talk about is repackaged in a much more consumable format on my YouTube page. Okay, that's it. So if there's someone out there that is like confused about a perspective that I have, you can point to them. You can point them in the direction of the channel. That's it. And the quickest solution to stop people from behaving this way is to say, dog, you're an adult. You have your own opinions. Why are you letting another man decide what you should think about a content creator instead of making up your own mind about this person? That's it. Okay, a little shady, but I tell people stop watching clipping and go hate watch the stream. You can talk to him, and it genuinely got two people I personally know that changed their opinions. Yeah, I believe that the way I see the world, and I think you believe this as well, right? We are in this community. We all believe that the way we see the world is popular. You just have to convince people to change the way that they filtered everything that they're experiencing. Right-wingers do a really good job with this, okay? Right-wingers do a really good job with this. They filter everything from the lens of hatred. They filter everything from the lens of hatred, and they constantly redirect people's enmity towards vulnerable populations. And they convince people that actually their enemies are their neighbors. They convince people that their enemies are people that just like look a little different than they do or speak a different language than they do. Okay? You can do the same. That's what I do. I try to redirect people's animosity to those in positions of power who have actually designed society in a way that actually hurts them, okay? Rather than focus people's attentions and priorities on some of the most powerless people in this country, undocumented migrants or trans people or whatever, I try to get them to redirect their attention and their animosity towards those in positions of power. That's it. ML's like, you were always hated in America, but now it's materially is imposing itself. The economy sucks. Everything sucks. It's like a very long-term hate getting finally vindicated, and you're great to educate us on it. Yeah. The best solution to slander is just the truth. You can get people to arrive at the truth about my commentary, for example, by simply focusing people's attentions, simply making people focus their attention on the stream itself that is unfiltered by negative framing from haters. It's that simple.